The second part of our notes on factor markets. We're going to talk about what causes shifts in labor demand and the labor supply curve. So really that homework we did last time, you were kind of going into that cold because we hadn't really covered it here. But this explains what causes the shifts. So shifts in labor demand curve. Okay, think in terms of MRP. When you think of demand in the factor market, think in terms of MRP. Output price. If there's a change in output price, so that's the price of the product, then it's going to shift the demand curve because price determines MRP. So we have an increase in price, and we have an increase in the demand for labor. Increase in price increases MRP, so that would shift the demand curve for labor out. Any questions there? All right. Do we have it? Moving on. Technological change. What's technological change going to affect in terms of MRP? No? Why the marginal product? I think somebody said, yeah, it improves the efficiency of workers, right? Better technology, they can do your job faster, better. So it is going to increase marginal product. It increases marginal product, which increases MRP. An increase in MRP, since demand in the factor market is MRP, increases the demand for labor. Technological change. Do I have it? All right. Supply of other factors. All right. This is something we'll think about a little differently than what we had before. Okay. With the supply of other factors, if you have a decrease in the supply of other factors of labor, such as if we're talking about workers, we're talking about labor, and we have a decrease in the supply of capital, or just the decrease in the supply of land or something like that, that's going to decrease the demand for apple pickers. Why would the decrease in another factor decrease the demand for apple pickers? Think about apple pickers. Let's say the other factor, the capital factor is ladders. What happens if there's a decrease in the supply of ladders? What's that?
You can't take all of his apples.
Right, it makes the worker less efficient. Anybody else that they would hire, they could only pick the apples that they can stand and reach. They wouldn't be able to get to the top of the tree, right? So it decreases marginal product of the workers. So if there's a decrease in marginal product, then that's going to decrease the demand for apple pickers. All goes back to the equation for MRP, MP times P. One of these two things is going to change when we talk about these three things that shift the demand curve. Two of them deal with price. One of them deals with marginal product. All right, any questions on shifts of the demand curve in the labor market, factor market? Okay, let's go to shifts of labor supply curve. One, changes in tastes. Right? Think about the labor market. What kind of taste could change in the labor market? Can you think of an example of a change in taste of laborers? Yes.
Switching from manpower to more machines. Would that be?
That wouldn't be change of taste. Yeah, Sam?
Other firms are offering more money.
That is one of the other things that shifts this supply curve. Yeah?
Maybe like the type of work, like a factory versus like farming or something.
Okay. Yeah, it could be workers, maybe all of a sudden everybody wants to work outside, right? They want to work outside, so there may be less supply for people that work inside in a factory or something. Another change of taste. The classic example is in the 50s when women decided they wanted to go to work. Before the 50s, most women stayed home, right? And in the 50s, women decided they wanted to work. That greatly increased the labor pool, shifted the supply of labor out. So changes in taste of workers. It increases the supply of labor. All right. Second one. Changes in alternative opportunities. Somebody said something about another job offers a higher wage. That's what this case applies to. So say that there's a pear orchard down the road from the apple orchard, and the person that owns the pear orchard decides to pay pear pickers more than apple pickers. Okay, so some of the apple pickers are going to leave the apple orchard and go work for the pear farmer, right? So a wage, if of an alternate opportunity increases, then that's going to decrease the supply. Remember, we're thinking in terms of apple pickers as our market. Okay, that's going to decrease the supply of labor. All right. The third one, immigration. What do you think immigration is going to do to the supply of labor? Yeah, it's going to increase it. Big issue right now in the presidential election. Should we allow immigrants from Mexico to come and work, even though they aren't citizens? Right? They boost our economy. Right? We need those workers, but the counter argument to that is they take away jobs from U.S. citizens. Will the U.S. citizens do the jobs that the Mexican immigrants are doing? It's hard to say, but a lot of people say they won't. So we'll have a shortage of the labor pool. But with immigration, if there's an increase in immigration, it's going to increase the supply of labor. All right, everybody have it? Okay. Equilibrium in the labor market. Wage adjusts to balance supply and demand for labor. The wage will adjust to balance supply and demand for labor. In equilibrium, wage equals MRP. We've got it right up here. Wage equals MRP in equilibrium. As this curve shifts, then the wage is going to go up or down. Right? All right, so let's look at some examples.